woodland, every imperfection special in its own way. The sounds that echo dance in the ears, the stillness enhances the solitude. I might be an outsider here, making nature's creatures stir, but while I am their guest, nothing will cease to inspire me. The woodland, where life slows down and clears the mind. My name is Tom Marsh. I've been making photography work now for the last 10 years, and I've been teaching for the last 7. Over that period of time, I've become known as the flat-capped photographer. Quite a few people have asked me, why don't you do YouTube videos? I bet you'd be really quite good at it. But I've always come to the conclusion that YouTube is saturated with photographers saying this is how you do this, that or the other, and offering various different equipment reviews. And I've always thought, well, I don't really have anything new to add. But something happened recently that's made me change my mind. I was diagnosed with autism, and it just made me take a step back and look at my life and photography's role within it in particular. And it made me realise that photography is my life. It's my way of expressing my feelings. It's a way of compartmentalising the world and almost slowing it down by capturing it frame by frame, being able to take those photographs away and contemplate them at my own pace. When I teach photography, I mainly base my tuition sessions and workshops on how to effectively use camera settings and how to compose photographs so they appear more aesthetically pleasing. And yes, all photographers need to know those things, but it's almost been detrimental to me in terms of getting into a bit of a creative rut. When you watch videos on how to do things on YouTube, or read articles in magazines, or read blog posts on the internet, then you could be mistaken for thinking that photography is bound by a certain set of rules. We compartmentalise photography into the rule of thirds, the Sunny 16 rule, all these different things that if we say that we follow these rules, then we are guaranteed to get better photographs. But that's not always the case. I've been doing that recently, and I feel that I'm almost doing a disservice to my own photography. I'm almost putting a mask on my identity because I'm following these rules, but not really taking photographs for myself. And with this diagnosis of autism, it's made me realise that I've sort of gone away from the photography that is true to myself. And yes, my photographs might look okay from an outside perspective, but for me, they're just lacking in something. And that's what I'm going to do with my YouTube videos. I'm going to take you to places that I love and describe to you how I approach those locations. And in doing so, hopefully what it will do is it will not only help me on my own journey to rediscover myself as a photographer, but to help you to think that actually there is another side to photography. I don't need to follow the rules all the time. I can be myself behind the camera and produce photographs that are well worth capturing. To introduce this series of videos, I thought, well, I've got to go to somewhere really special to start off. So I've come to Weeton Woods on the border between North and West Yorkshire, not too far from the town of Harrogate, because this is somewhere that is really, really special to me. I usually come here during the spring when it's an absolute wash of bluebells across the whole woodland here. But it's brilliant in all seasons. Already today I've seen a hare bounding through the undergrowth, and I also saw a little owl take off up into one of the trees. Every time I come here I see something new. Now, on a day like today, the light is quite flat. It started off quite nicely this morning. There was a bit of mist and sunshine breaking through, but now the clouds come over and the light has got a lot flatter. And for many people that would be the time to put the camera away, pack up and go home. But for me, it's just another challenge, a new opportunity. So I'm going to take you around the woodland here and show you a few ways around getting that light to appear a bit less flat and produce photographs that sort of express the mood of the woodland and express how I'm feeling today. If I was playing by the rules, I'd be looking out for things that are synonymous with landscape photography, like the rule of thirds, and keeping my aperture quite narrow because I'm in a landscape setting. But actually I've been doing quite the opposite of that. I've been opening my aperture really quite wide to 2.8, 1.8, because there isn't a huge amount of light here, and by doing that it's just making those foreground elements just pop out really nicely, and to me that tells the story of this woodland. If I was to narrow the aperture down, then everything would sort of be on top of you and the composition would look quite flat. Now, as I keep saying, the light isn't perfect today. So the other thing that I've been looking to do is keeping the contrast, clarity, sharpness and the colour saturation quite low in my photographs, because I don't want to idealise the landscape. I'm not trying to make it into something that it's not. I want to characterise it for exactly what it is today as I see it. So I'm making sure that the colour and contrast are quite subtle. And that, combined with that wide aperture, just brings out a bit of the atmosphere of the landscape. And that's exactly what I'm looking for today. This video has been an introduction to me and I suppose what you would call my philosophical approach to photography. If you yourself want to get rid of those predefined rules of photography, break free and produce work that is personal to you, then please follow me on my journey. Over the next few months I'll be visiting more locations that are special to me and describing to you how I approach those locations photographically, with a view to capturing how I feel and a true depiction of the landscape before me. I'll be returning to Weeton Woods in the spring when the bluebells return, but in the meantime please subscribe and follow me on YouTube. You can also follow me across social media and go to theflatcappedphotographer.co.uk for my workshops, portfolios and other useful bits of information. All those details are coming up on screen with a few of the photographs that I've taken today. I look forward to seeing you again soon in another location. Thank you for watching.